Film Room 101. I'm Michael Spath here with Steve Morrison. We're breaking down the Michigan-Wisconsin game, a 14-7 win for the Wolverines. And our very first play is about 10:05 to go in the first quarter. Third down for the Badgers, and Michigan makes a really nice play up front. Their defensive line all works together, and then Channing Stribling finishes off with a pass breakup.
Yeah, this is our third down of this drive, and we've given up two first downs and really need to get off the field here and change the momentum. And we're going to play some man coverage, and we're just going to have a simple four-man rush, but we're going to throw a game in there with Hurst and Wormley running a tech stunt. Hurst is going to get upfield vertical, and it's going to allow Wormley to come off his butt and shoot that inside gap that's open. And then up top, you get a two-way go with Charlton on the right side. So a really nice job of collapsing the pocket on the quarterback in an obvious passing situation, and then just fantastic coverage downfield with Stribling.
9:05 of the first quarter. Michigan backed up pretty deep in their own territory, and here, after taking a sack, they make a really nice play to get Jake Butt the ball out in some open space along the sideline.
Yeah, and the thing that Wisconsin does a nice job of, they're going to throw a bunch of guys into zone coverage, and the idea there is you've got to find those open zones, and I think Michigan does a nice job here of creating an open zone by running the three players vertical and then Butt's on the inside, and then he's going to run essentially a deep out cut. And again, they clear out a zone for him, and Spate does a good enough job of keeping his eyes open, protection's good, and he lays it out over the curl flat defender for a really nice gain. So a really good concept offensively to take advantage of Wisconsin.
Here we are at about 4:05 of the first quarter, and Michigan runs right up the gut. It's something that they did fairly well against the Badgers, and this is a Chris Evans, about a 20-yard run.
Yeah, it's a nice, simple play. It's just going to run an inside zone, and Wisconsin's going to end up running a little fire zone from the boundary with their will linebacker, and the front's going to move. And really the success of this play falls on the offensive lineman, able to pass all that movement off up front. And you get Kalis getting the pin block, and then you get Braden getting up on the backer. And Evans does a great job of taking the ball, seeing the hole, no hesitation, dives it up inside, and is off for a big gain. But again, the key is the offensive line doing a great job of handling that movement on the fly and really creating that seam.
Steve, 2:44 to go in the first quarter, and Michigan picks up a first down on a nice slant pattern run by Amar Darboh, a good, strong throw from Wilton Spate. But you notice something that he does subtly that makes a big difference for him here.
Yeah, Wisconsin's going to be in a man-free concept here, and they're going to have a couple of rat players, which just means linebackers underneath without any responsibility. They're essentially just going to read the quarterback's eyes and turn and run to the football. And what Spate does a nice job of here in his first two steps, he keeps his eyes vertical, and that freezes that inside linebacker rather than looking at the slant right away, where it's going to have him get a chance to run out there quicker. So nice job of keeping his eyes vertical, transitioning to the last second of getting his eyes out to Darboh, and then just throws a nice strike out there and good completion for a first down.
14-15 in the second quarter, and Michigan, I'll let you take it through it, but Maurice Hurst gets pressure on the quarterback and disrupts his timing, and it leads to a low throw that the receiver cannot bring in.
It really is. Again, it's a four-man rush, and we're going to get pressure out of it, which is it's been huge for us, not only this game but this season. And we're going to be in man coverage. We're going to try to take advantage of that by running some crossers off. And for the two inside players, our right defensive tackle is going to get a double team, and he's got to just fight the fight and stay in his pass rush lane. Mo is going to be singled up, and essentially at that rate, he's got a two-way go, and he decides to take an inside move on him and get vertical, and really does a nice job with his execution and his technique, and again, puts pressure on the quarterback, not allowing him to make a throw, and again, get an incompletion. So really nice job from a pass rush lane integrity standpoint. 9
minutes to go in the second quarter, and Ryan Glasgow, who might be the best defensive player in the Big Ten this year, takes advantage of a one-on-one matchup, uses a great swim move, and gets in there for the quarterback sack.
Yeah, we saw something like this earlier in the game on a third down situation, and very similar results. And so obviously Michigan had some sort of idea what, from a protection standpoint, they're going to get. You're going to see Wormley, and on the right side here, they're going to run another tech stunt with an up and under. But it's single blocking on Glasgow. He does a nice little punch move and to the inside, and just gets vertical. And again, we're getting pressure out of a four-man pass rush and opportunities to get off the field. This defensive line is very, very impressive with what they're doing.
11:30 to go in the third quarter, and a delayed blitz here by Wisconsin ends up about to get home. with two running backs that don't really see it. But Wilton Speight makes a nice play here and gets the ball out to J.U. Chesson for a big first down.
Yeah, first things first with the protection, they're going to just delay a linebacker in there, and he's going to add himself in there late, and both the backs miss that. I think he's just part of playing in underneath coverage. But we're going to run an out and up outside with Chesson, and it's one of those things where whether or not it's a breakdown in Wisconsin's pass coverage, it's just an opportunity to flood a zone and rework another area in the zone. And a nice job by Speight, having time, being patient and confident in the pocket, and throwing a nice ball out there.
6:50 to go in the third quarter, and back-to-back really nice 10-yard runs by Davion Smith. And here, Henry Poggi and Jake Butt get out there and neutralize the two guys that allow Davion Smith to go over the tackle for a nice gain.
Yeah, I think what Wisconsin was successful at and is successful at is that they're a read and react front and allow their linebackers to come up and make plays. And what we're able to do here and be successful is that we stay and maintain blocks. And that creates enough of a seam for Davion to work himself through and get some positive yards. And like you said, a couple back-to-back runs, and that's a huge thing for our confidence in continuing to work this game.
About 4 minutes, 54 seconds to go in the third quarter. Michigan tried this a little bit in the first half, and here they are again in the Wildcat formation. They're really running a read option with Jabril Peppers. Now, we have not seen him keep the ball, but it probably does enough to get Wisconsin to pay attention to him and help Ty Isaac with a big gain here.
Yeah, it's going to occupy one extra player. And anytime, Peppers is a threat to pull and carry the ball, they're going to have to take one blocker and or one defender and be responsible for him. And again, what we do a nice job here of is the guys up front with Cole and Braden really staying on their guys. And, those guys are going to two-gap and try to read and react, and we stay on them long enough. We end up getting two guys through a single gap with the linebacker stepping through. And then a really nice cut by Isaac to see that, get the backer to step up and then pour it up outside. So a good job just staying with consistency on their blocks.
About a minute 35 to go in the third quarter, and a play that what I really appreciate, Steve, is how you always point out the subtle details that are going on. And this is a really smart, heady play by DeMonte Thomas to cover a fullback when Michigan probably wasn't ready for the fullback to release.
Yeah, so we're in a man scheme here, and as everybody knows, we play a lot of man, and Wisconsin knows that, and they do a nice job of schematically getting guys out in the route that we're not really anticipating. So their fullback's going to release here, who's really Gideon's guy, and again, not something where you're really anticipating him getting out. They're also going to get their tailback out into the flat, which brings McCray out. But an outstanding job by Thomas here. His man blocks. He feels the fullback go vertical, and he just turns and runs and offers support to his team. And Gideon's a couple steps behind, and we're actually going to get this play covered. So just a nice heads-up ball player type of a play where he's going to feel something, and he reacts and goes and covers this up. So one guy taking care of another guy. 12:54
of the fourth quarter, and Ty Isaac with another big run, one of many he had on this day. Almost loses the ball, but really what you want to point out is the nice job that Michigan does sealing off the edge with a block by J.U. Chesson.
Yeah, their safeties were active all day long. They were bringing them down to get 8 and 9 guys into the box and really making it a difficult day for us in terms of trying to run the football. And we're going to bring Chesson inside with a little Z in motion and shorten the distance between him and the safety. And he's able to come down and crack that safety. So a nice job of using a perimeter player to get rid of an extra support player. And again, the left side of the line does a great job. Hill does a nice job with the kick out. And we get a nice little seam for Isaac to run through and a nice burst up through there. And yeah, you'd love for him to have a little bit better ball security. Might get another 5 or 6 yards out of this run. But a nice schematic run to take care of the issues with the extra down safety.
10:27 of the fourth quarter, and this is when defensive lines start to have fun, when they are getting into a quarterback's head and forcing maybe an incompletion and end up getting a sack just because of the fact that they put so much pressure on this kid already.
Yeah, it's paying off, and again, you don't always sack the guy, but you want to get hits on him, you want to get pressure on him, and we had done that pretty consistently throughout the game in these types of situations. And again, it's just a 4-man rush for us, and one of the things we made a little bit of a change up where running these pass rush stunts earlier in the game. We were sending the tackle upfield first and letting the end come underneath him. And we just changed it up a little bit. Obviously, they're going to go back to the drawing board and try to work on that and coach it up on the sidelines. And then we go back and Wormley's the vertical guy upfield and first inside and our tackle around. So a nice change up there. But again, this quarterback has felt it all day long, like you said. And anytime you get in a quarterback's head, you change the dynamic of the game, and that's what we were successful at doing.
Here we are, 8 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Michigan is in need of a big play. I didn't think Wilton Speight had it in him, but he proved me wrong with a huge touchdown throw and a deep bomb to Amar Darboh.
Yeah, this is great, and I'm happy for him, and I'm happy for the team, obviously, in this situation. But, Wisconsin's playing a 3D pretty much primarily all day long, and we're able to get 4 verticals on that, and that's the weakness of that defense. And really a nice job by Butt occupying the post safety, and a little bit of that play action accomplishes the same thing. We freeze that post player and leave it a true one-on-one into the boundary. And Darboh just does a nice job of beating his man with speed. And like you said, Speight drops a dime on him, and perfect way to end this football game.
We're going to talk about another Jordan Lewis play in just a few minutes here, but 7:53 to go, and he does not probably get as much credit for what he deserves as being a good tackler. And here, an open field tackle, makes a really nice read and stops a play that had potential to go for a big gain.
Yeah, everybody talks about his coverage ability, and obviously by what we're going to see later, he's fantastic at that. But this is his second game back, and he made a couple of great tackles last week, and he's going to counter that again with another one this week. Nice job. They're trying to take advantage and get a little belly flip play out to the field, and he feels his man's going to go inside and try to crack the safety, and he just steps up, reacts, doesn't break down, comes out and forces a tackle that even if he does miss it, it's going back into his help. Technically as sound as you're going to see, and probably one of the best all-around corners, if not the best that I've seen.
Our final play is the spectacular interception by Jordan Lewis, and you just remarked about it. The same thing that Jim Harbaugh did is that when he first saw the play happen, he thought Jordan Lewis jumped too early, and instead he just hung in the air, almost like the little jump man that he has on his jersey, that famous dunk from Michael Jordan. He just hung up there for a very long time to make this pick.
Yeah, it was like he was in slow motion and was in there, and he must have an incredible vertical jump because he was floating on air for a little while, enough to stay up there and secure this unbelievable catch and pick with one hand, and a phenomenal play. And your big time players make big time plays in big time games, and certainly did it here at the end in just unbelievable fashion with an incredible individual effort. Fantastic play. Outside
of the Charles Woodson catch interception against Michigan State, is that the best interception you've seen?
Yeah, and I would rival it against Michigan State, and nothing against Charles in that play. It's fantastic, but this is fantastic. Two different scenarios, but definitely very difficult if those are ever going to be touched again.